After making my long unique weapons video, I was looking for another video topic that I could cover. I've got quite an Excel sheet of ideas for longer videos, but I wanted something that was a bit more bite-sized, something that wouldn't take me hours to script. I scrolled and scrolled through Google, through the Fallout wiki, through Reddit, and found nothing that really interested me. That is until I found a Quora question. You know Quora, right? Kind of like Yahoo Answers, you ask a question and random people can respond. Well, this Quora asked the question, what is the most interesting theory you've heard for any of the Fallout games? And of course it had answers like the mannequins are alive, or aliens planned the Great War centuries in advance, or that Vault 111's experiment was testing the staff to see if they'd cannibalize the frozen dwellers. And while each of these theories seem interesting and could probably make for their own video, it was one unassuming question that caught my eye. Today, I will attempt to answer this question and go over two potential theories. So my fellow Fallout enjoyers and Nort listeners, what exactly is a stimpak? It seems like an innocent question, right? I think the fact that most video games contain some sort of health replenish mechanic has sort of twisted my view on the actual in-game universe mechanics of such a unique and world-altering piece of medical technology. Like, in many fantasy games there are health potions, we never question it, we just accept that whatever magical red cocktail that we use when we're low on HP heals us using some sort of restorative magic. But Fallout, although having evidence of the supernatural and magic, is more grounded than these fantasy games. It's a sci-fi game, one that does its best to explain things away using imagined science. In the established lore, stimpaks are a pre-war syringe that was used by doctors and autodocs to help the healing of minor wounds. They were mainly used during post-operative care and recovery, implying that they were really only effective for small open wounds, bone breaks, fractures, and abrasions. While gunshot wounds could likely be affected by a stimpak, the physical bullet would have to be removed first. So with this sort of background established, what possible concoction of medicine is the stimpak syringe filled with? Well, it starts with the name. Stimpak, also known as stims, is short for Stimulation Delivery Package. The Vault Dweller's Survival Guide describes a stimpak as containing many healing chems, a soup of healing medication if you will. By injecting the stimpak, you drastically increase your own recuperative functions and restore lost hit points almost instantly. And that description is good at first, but hit points are a construction of gameplay mechanics. We don't have some hit point meter that can be restored instantly, but the rest of it is good. We have a basis, it's a blend of healing chemicals that increases recuperative functions. That's great. But what could be inside of a stimpak that provokes the body to improve its own natural healing ability? Two real-life injections come to mind when thinking about a stimpak, at least to me: morphine and amphetamines. Both serve medical purposes and can come in the form of an injection, but both of these real-life medicines already have their Fallout counterparts, Med-X and Psycho, respectively. Epinephrine injections come to mind as well, but like the other two examples, it doesn't really beneficially augment the body's natural healing ability, so it would seem that none of these are a stimpak. So again, what is possibly inside of a stimpak? Well, let's consult the games where we can actually craft our own stimpaks: New Vegas, 4, and 76. Let's start with New Vegas. Combining Brock flower, an empty syringe, and Xander root produces a singular stimpak. The empty syringe serves an obvious purpose, but what are the effects of the two plants? Brock flower comes from the Brock plant, and it's used in 3 base game crafting recipes. The aforementioned stimpak, of course, but also healing powder and turbo. Xander root grows just about everywhere in the desert, and it's used in 2 base game recipes, both previously mentioned healing powder and stimpaks. So it would seem that both of these plants share some sort of healing properties, and when used without a syringe casing, it makes the more primitive healing powder. In Fallout 4 and 76, the recipe is a bit weirder. Stimpaks can be created by combining antiseptic, a blood pack, and steel. Steel would seem to be for the casing, antiseptic used for its antibacterial properties, and then a blood pack. Perhaps the idea is that it's used as a buffer for the antiseptic and to replace lost blood from injuries. These are 2 very unique crafting recipes between the games, but perhaps that's not an indicator of lore, but instead an indicator for game mechanics. That is to say, both games use different crafting materials, so of course the recipes would be different, but who knows. It would seem that we're back to square one. All we know is that a stimpak serves to deliver stimulants to the body. It delivers some concoction of medicine that sends a message to the body telling it to speed up recovery. And as far as my research has taken me, there is no known medicine or drug that can convey this message. There are medicines and things that promote healing and dissuade infection, like antibacterial ointments, vitamins, just covering an open wound can help. But nothing that is currently commercially available acts similarly to a stimpak. This mystery and lack of real-world counterpart leads me to believe that the stimpak must be some sort of futuristic technology. Now this is normally where I would end my video. That is, if it were a shorts video about stimpak lore. I'd leave it saying, a stimpak is just some Fallout exclusive technology that can't be explained using real-world examples. Another one of those all-too-common mysteries of the Fallout universe. But let's do something different. Let's explore two theories that I've read online. And I know, I'm the guy that's not big on fan theories. I just enjoy mystery and uncertainty in my in-game universes. But for the sake of being thorough, let's explore two theories for what could be inside a stimpak. Again, what is the stimulant that is being delivered? Theory 1. It's stem cells. The closest real-world comparison I can think of is that a stimpak delivers stem cells. Mayo Clinic describes a stem cell as the body's raw materials, cells from which all other cells with specialized functions are generated. Stem cells can divide and turn into either more stem cells or more specialized cells like nerve cells, liver cells, cardiac cells, blood cells, etc. So the idea would be that a stimpak injects the user with stem cells, which can then target, repair, and regenerate damaged or diseased tissue. It would literally be regenerating the affected parts of the body over time, similar to how the stimpak heals over time in Fallout 4 and New Vegas Hardcore mode. Though I'd imagine that stem cells take longer than 6 seconds to fully work. As for the ethical dilemma that stem cell research faces today in our world, we all know that the world of Fallout doesn't care too much in the way of ethics. It's likely that this sort of research and testing was encouraged and promoted through the government as a way to aid the war effort. If the Big Empty was all in on medical treatment suits, then what's stopping stem cell research, Now this leads me to the question of, if stimpaks deliver some sort of stem cell mixture to the user, how are they crafted in New Vegas using plants? And this could potentially be explained away in a variety of ways. 1. Pre-war stimpaks are different than crafted stimpaks. 2. Xander root and Brock flower are mutated post-war plants that somehow contain stem cells that are compatible with humans. 3. A lack of stem cells forced wastelanders to try and formulate a new recipe using what they had. This led to the Xander root Brock flower combination. It pains me to say this, but I think the second explanation would be most likely. Some mutations in fauna cause these plants to have human-compatible stem cells or something. If that's not the case, then that would mean that Xander root and Brock flower evoke stronger regenerative properties in humans, and are unlike anything that we've ever seen in nature. I'm not sure which is more plausible, human-compatible stem cells in plants, or a plant that forces your body to heal faster. Both seem a bit wacky, but that's Fallout for you. The world of fan theories knows no bounds. And for the second, more futuristic theory, is that it's nanobots. Synthetic, nanometer-sized robots are injected to the user's bloodstream using the stimpak. These bots seek, repair, and promote the body's natural healing abilities to help fix any damage that the user has sustained. Now, before you go and say anything, the concept of nanotechnology was introduced in 1959 by American physicist Richard Feynman. Now, I know what you're saying. 1950s conceptualized technology? Sounds exactly like what the Fallout developers would want for their games, right? So to me, this theory is pretty believable in the sense that it's on brand for Fallout inspiration, and it explains how a stimpak works. Again, this doesn't really account for the New Vegas crafting recipes, but each of those past explanations that were presented could easily apply here as well. Either Xander root and Brock flower are the most insanely advanced medicine when combined, or nanobots somehow got into these mutated plants. Pick your poison, either seem equally probable. To summarize, a stimpak in-game serves as the standard and primary form of instantaneous hit point recovery. In-universe, the actual process and chemical nature is leagues more complicated, and likely has no true, real-world counterpart. But this leads to two future tech theories. A stimpak is either filled with a solution containing stem cells, or nanobots. One is more futuristic than the other, as stem cell research is ongoing today, and the other is a bit more fantastical, though it was theorized in the 1950s. So while the exact mechanisms of a stimpak are unknown, and will likely remain unknown for the foreseeable future, there are a few theories out there that you can latch onto for an explanation, or alternatively, you can just accept the strange and question mark filled world of Fallout medicine. If you like this video, be sure to share and subscribe. Have a good rest of your day. Cheers.
Hey, Solomon.
You look like you need a prescription filled. Something to settle your nerves, let you chill.
Did you say something about drugs?